Good morning, everyone. Kate and Fiona Pearman joining you for this week's Facebook Live, where we're continuing our conversation around transactional or tactical leadership development versus transformational leadership development. I think it's really useful to start the conversation around what do we mean by both of these terms. When we think about tactical leadership, we're really focusing on skills. So here we're talking about kind of the day-to-day skills you need to navigate the corporate world, things like public speaking, presenting, delegation, time management, giving, receiving feedback, all of those sorts of things. When we think about transformational leadership, we're talking about an experience that goes even deeper, that really talks to a leader's identity, who they are as an individual and as a person, their actions, their behaviors, their beliefs, the way they operate in the world. And I think, through our own experience and also feedback from some of our trusted colleagues in our network, when we talked about what truly transformational leadership development is, people talked about it operating at a core identity piece, really challenging and raising our awareness around beliefs and mindsets, awareness around how I operate in the world, awareness around some of the stuff that might be going on in my inner world, and then resourcing me to meet, to understand, and then to reframe and change how I show up in the world and really be able to self-regulate from a place of belief and alignment.
Look, this is really where we create the capability for truly effective, leadership that actually does what we want leadership to do, that enrolls people, that engages them, that enables us to achieve the big goals, the strategic initiatives in organizations. And it does usually take some unlearning. Often what's got us to here, often the things that helped us early in our career were tactical. They were our subject matter expertise. They were some day-to-day skills that were useful at the time. But when we get to more senior levels of leadership, we really have to show up in a different way. We have to be able to be vulnerable enough so that other people can trust us. And we need to be a leader who role models capability so that others can follow and join us. And I think this is why so much depth is required. It's not something that we can do at a surface level. It's not just changing a little behavior or a little tweak here or trying to do something differently, because when that's coming from just a linear sort of way of addressing something, it usually stops. We might try it a couple of times, but there's no substance to the way that we're doing it. So what we know about transformational leadership is, and certainly when we do this work in women in leadership programs, is it's not enough to know about the how. We really have to dive into the why, and we have to be willing to address the roadblocks that come up. And a lot of this is deeply embedded in our psyche. It's messages we've received, it's ways in which we're navigating the world, it's our default beliefs and assumptions that are actually driving our willingness to try something. We may know the 3 points I need to do to negotiate, for instance, but whether I'm actually willing to embark on that and do it in a conversation is going to depend on a whole lot of other things that are going on. And so understanding these deep-rooted barriers, the things that are holding us back, the fear of what other people will think, that it's going to land badly, that I won't be liked, that I'm not going to belong anymore. When we start to unpack that, that's when we can actually start to embed these skills in a very different way.
Yeah, I think that really transitions into this piece around, really it focuses on self-awareness, right? Our ability to know ourselves. I think the tactics, like the how to negotiate, the how to present, all of those things are important. But if we are not aware of some of the drivers around why I'm not speaking up, if we're not aware of those and we can't pay attention to that, we can't, use strategies to be able to calibrate, challenge some of these default beliefs, assumptions, behaviors. We can't raise that to our consciousness so we can do something about it. All of those roadblocks, red flags will continue to play out to keep us safe, right? That's what's going on in most circumstances. And so our ability to go deeper, to get a better understanding of who we are, what's going on for us. Yes, I'm aware of what I need to do, but resourcing me to be able to tactically and practically do that in the external environment with the stakeholders whom I may feel a little uncomfortable with. In fact, I may feel that there's something at risk with if I do speak up, if I do negotiate. You know, ability to have that conversation, that resources someone to be able to step into that conversation with what I need to do, but importantly, resourced to be able to do it, and importantly, to meet whatever comes to them or at them in that dynamic. And in our experience, there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear that will hold women back from leading into various different dynamics. And that is what stops them from speaking up, negotiating, not doing things 150% perfectly. Not the how do I do it, not the tactical skill.
I think this is an opportunity for organisations to really think about what it is that we want out of a program and what's the outcome we're looking for as we go to build those sustainable pipelines of female talent. The other thing we know that's super important is transformational programs tend to occur in community with others. It's a lot to take this on, that this is happening inside of me. It can feel painful, challenging, and difficult. But what's incredibly reassuring and really valuable is when I'm with a group of other women, also raised in the same context, environments, all of the same messaging, and we go, oh, it's not just me. I'm not alone with this. Other people have the same or very similar experiences. There is such a powerful sense of camaraderie, of shared problem that we can solve together. And when we learn from and with each other, we create greater tension, nice accountability, all of the things that we know are super important for not just knowing something, but actually practicing it and embedding it as part of who we are.
Yeah, I think, you know, we talked last week about so much leadership development fails to deliver return on investment, right? I think it's something like less than 10%. And we were talking with a colleague yesterday who talked about the forgetting curve when it comes to, you know, any learning and development. I think what's so powerful about, you know, a multi-touch point blended learning program that is done in community is that not only am I accountable to myself, but I'm accountable to my peers who are in a similar experience, who are inspiring me, and in the same way also holding me accountable to what I said I'm going to do. And some of those things will feel uncomfortable. There will be something at risk. I'm not going to have you know, 150% confidence to take action. I'm going to start to recalibrate my formula in my head around when I'm willing to do something. But the courage and the inspiration that happens in that dynamic, but importantly, the behavior change and the belief change. Because what we know when we think about sustainable behavior change, and it's one of the reasons why the Acts of Confidence program is 10 weeks long, it's equally why the design of the program has participants coming through the program twice. Because what we're seeking to do is to reframe the beliefs, assumptions, default behaviors that for many of us have been operating beneath the surface, right, below our awareness for many, many years, and raise that to the surface to create space for us to be able to make new choices, to take new action, to build new feedback loops, and to lock in new beliefs. And we know that doesn't happen in half a day, in one day, or even in 1 month. It happens when we create a safe, supportive learning community whom can come back together in a regular way to have conversations, to continue to raise awareness, to make new choices, to take new actions, and to really lock in new beliefs that will deliver that sustainable behaviour change, not just over months, but over years and decades ahead in context of you know, these women's careers and lives.
Yeah, so much here for us to think about individually and collectively to do something that's really going to shift the dial on gender equity in organisations. Look, we'll leave it there. If you've enjoyed this conversation, please share it with a friend or a colleague. You can tag them below. Follow us on the page. We update these weekly. You can head over to our YouTube channel where there is so much content and lots of great pieces for leaders and for individuals. When you're ready or someone in your world is ready to access their inner resource of core confidence, you can head to our website, coreconfidence.com.au.